Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a really remarkable piece of technology. It's a tiny device that lives inside millions of people, acting as a silent, unseen guardian for the most important organ we have. We are, of course, talking about the pacemaker, and we're going to explore what it's really like to live with one.
So just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about, think about this number, 4 million. That's roughly how many people around the globe are living with a pacemaker right now. So this isn't some rare medical thing, it's a huge shared human experience. But behind that massive number, well, that's where you find the individual stories, the fears, and the triumphs.
And that huge number becomes really personal when you hear things like this. These are the words of Svetlana, who got a pacemaker. She said, "I was afraid to make an extra move." And that just perfectly captures the feeling, doesn't it? The psychological weight of it all. Suddenly, your life, your very own heartbeat, feels incredibly fragile.
Which brings us right to the heart of what we're talking about today. Beyond all the medical charts and the data, what's the day-to-day reality? What are the new rules you have to live by? What are the challenges? And maybe most importantly, what are the freedoms that come with having your heart's rhythm kept by this unseen guardian?
Okay, so to really get the solution, you have to understand the problem first. And it all starts when the heart's own natural internal clock starts to fail.
So, the main issue is usually a condition with a fancy name, bradycardia. But what it means is actually pretty simple. Your heart is just beating too slow. Think of it like a car engine that's idling too low. It just can't generate enough power, or in this case, enough oxygen-rich blood, to keep everything running the way it should.
And your body, well, it's not shy about telling you something's wrong. It sends out these clear warning signs, kind of like a low battery icon on your phone. You might feel dizzy all the time, or just completely wiped out with fatigue. You could get short of breath, or even have fainting spells. These are all signals that your body's power supply is getting critically low because its natural pacemaker is struggling.
And this is where this amazing medical technology steps in, offering a solution that is just, well, it's life-changing.
So how does this little guardian actually do its job? Well, it's actually pretty brilliant in its simplicity. The device is basically always listening to your heart's rhythm. If it senses that a beat is too slow or maybe a beat is missed altogether, it sends out a tiny, completely unnoticeable electrical pulse. And that little pulse is just enough to tell the heart muscle, hey, contract now, and that's it. A normal, steady rhythm is restored. It only steps in when it's needed.
Now, you might be picturing this big, intense, open heart surgery, right? But what's really surprising is that it's nothing like that. It's actually a minor procedure. It's usually done with local anesthetic, and it's often over in less than an hour. The doctor makes a small incision, places the device just under the skin, and then carefully guides these little wires, called leads, down to the heart through a vein.
Okay, so let's talk about how far this technology has come, because modern pacemakers are worlds away from the early versions. Honestly, they're true marvels of miniature engineering. They have some serious superpowers.
The best way to think about it is like this. The first pacemakers were kind of like the very first cars. A total game changer, revolutionary, but, pretty basic and limited. Today's devices? They're like a modern high-tech car, fully automatic, incredibly safe, packed with smart features, and built for a long, comfortable journey.
And these modern features are what I'm calling the superpowers. The device is constantly running self-checks on itself. It monitors your heart rhythm for your entire life. It can even send that data straight to your doctor's office right from your own home, which means fewer trips to the clinic. And here's a huge one. Many are now MRI compatible. For years, MRIs were a total no-go for pacemaker patients, so this innovation has been a massive deal.
And maybe the biggest superpower of them all? Their lifespan. The early devices would only last a few years, meaning more surgeries for replacements. Some of the newest pacemakers, they can last for up to 20 years before the battery needs to be replaced. That is a massive leap forward. But of course, having this sophisticated piece of electronics inside your body does mean there are a few new rules of the road for navigating the modern world.
Okay, so the biggest thing to be aware of is electromagnetic fields, that invisible energy that's all around us. Let's break it down. At home, things like your microwave, TV, computer, they're all perfectly safe. The main thing is to be a little careful with stuff you hold really close to the pacemaker, like headphones or your cell phone. The rule is simple. Just try to keep them about 20 centimeters away, or with your phone, use it on the ear opposite from your device. Easy enough. Out in public, you just need to be mindful of those anti-theft gates at store entrances. The advice is simple. Just walk through at a normal speed, don't hang out right next to them. And as you can see, the things you really need to avoid are usually in heavy industrial areas, like arc welders, which most of us aren't running into anyway.
Traveling is another thing people worry about. But honestly, with a little bit of prep, it's totally manageable. The most important thing is your pacemaker ID card. Always, always have it with you. When you get to airport security, just show them the card and let them know you have a pacemaker. They're trained for this, and they'll usually do a manual search instead of having you go through the big detectors.
And what about exercise? That's a huge question people have. Can I still be active? And the answer is a big yes. After you've recovered, which usually takes about 3 months, moderate exercise isn't just okay, it's actually encouraged. Things like running, swimming, cycling, all great. The main advice is to avoid activities where you could get a direct, hard hit to the chest. So think contact sports. You just want to protect the device.
You know, all of this is the practical stuff. But living with a pacemaker is so much more than just following the medical rules. It's a huge psychological and emotional journey, too.
This quote just captures that initial recovery phase so perfectly. It's not the big medical things you think about. It's the temporary loss of these simple little abilities we all take for granted. That feeling of vulnerability while you're healing is a huge, even if it's temporary, challenge.
And then there's this, the mental hurdle. Even after your body has healed, there's this whole mental process of accepting that a piece of technology is now a permanent part of you, this constant little presence under your skin.
And on top of everything else, patients sometimes have to deal with what other people say. An insensitive comment like this, it just highlights a common misunderstanding, that pacemakers are only for older people. It can create this kind of social stigma that people, especially younger recipients, have to deal with.
But here's the most important part. Despite all these adjustments, the physical, the practical, the psychological, the whole entire point of a pacemaker isn't to limit your life. It's to restore it, to set you free. And this is what that freedom looks like. It's about getting back to a full life. It's about being able to work and build a career, to travel and see the world, to enjoy your sports and hobbies. It's being able to raise a family. But ultimately, it's about freeing people from that constant nagging fear of their own heart failing them. It's about living a life uninterrupted. So we'll leave you with this thought. This tiny machine is so much more than just a medical device. It's really a testament to human ingenuity and our incredible will to live. It makes you think about that amazing intersection of our own biology and our technology, and how the two of them together can completely redefine what it means to be resilient.